Part 1. The Song She Never Forgot. The first snowfall of the season came quietly over Seattle. It didn't make a sound when it touched the ground, just like Claire's heart when she saw him again. After 6 years, 2 broken hearts, and 1 unforgettable song. Claire Bennett stood by the window of the small bookstore cafe she now owned, steaming cup in hand. The sky was gray, the streets hushed, and soft jazz played through the speakers. The kind of winter day that made people nostalgic or reckless. She hadn't thought about him in months, maybe longer. At least not in ways that hurt. And then the bell over the door chimed. She looked up. It was Ethan. He was taller now. The boyish charm had softened into something deeper. Quiet eyes, a little sadness in the smile. His coat was damp from the snow, his hands bare. But what struck Claire most was the way he looked at her, like the years had never passed. They had met in New York. She was 25, working 3 jobs and dreaming of writing her own music. He was a traveling sound engineer from Toronto, just in the city for a contract gig. One night, she was singing at a dim jazz bar in the West Village. He was in the audience, alone, listening like her voice was something sacred. Afterward, he approached her, didn't ask for her number, just said, "That song you sang, I'll never forget it." And he didn't. For 3 months, they were inseparable. Long walks in Central Park, coffee-fueled all-nighters on his tiny rooftop, and songs written on napkins and notebooks. But Ethan's visa expired. His contract ended. And Claire, still fighting to make rent, couldn't leave with him. So they said goodbye. The kind you don't cry over right away. The kind that sneaks back into your chest in quiet moments, like snowfall. Now he was here, in her shop, in Seattle. He ordered black coffee, no sugar, same as before. They sat by the window. 6 years, Claire said softly. "I wasn't sure you'd remember me," he replied. She smiled, bittersweet. "You never really left." He looked down, then back at her. "I heard your song. On the radio. December. Comes too soon." It was you, right? Claire's chest tightened. It was the last song she wrote. The one she never performed live. The one she wrote about him. She nodded. "I recorded it," he said. "In L.A. 2 years ago. Didn't know it was you. The label didn't say." The air between them shifted. Heavy, familiar, beautiful in a painful way. She could barely speak. "I wrote that the night you left." "I know." Their eyes met. Something passed between them. Years. Regret. The melody of everything unsaid. He reached into his coat pocket and placed a worn cassette tape on the table. "I kept this," he said. "Your demo. From the night we met." Claire picked it up. Slowly, fingers trembling, she almost smiled, until she saw the ring on his finger. Her heart dropped. "You're married?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper. He didn't look away. "Divorced. Last year." Silence. Then he added, "But there's more. I didn't just come here to bring the tape." Claire blinked, confused. "Then why?" He looked outside, at the snow, then back at her, eyes full of everything he couldn't say 6 years ago. "Because I still love you, and I don't know if I've come too late." The silence between them sat heavy like fog, lingering in the warm cafe as the snow thickened outside. Claire stared at Ethan, her hand still resting gently on the old cassette tape. Her heart raced, not from surprise, but from the quiet ache of something she had buried years ago, now rising to the surface. "I still love you, and I don't know if I've come too late." His words echoed in her chest, soft but steady. She didn't answer right away, didn't trust herself to. "I used to dream about this moment," she whispered. "But in my dream, I always knew what to say. He leaned forward, his voice lower now, more fragile. I left because I thought I had to, but there wasn't a day I didn't think of you. Your voice, that song. I played it in hotel rooms, in airports, in silence, like it was the only piece of you I had. Claire exhaled, her eyes glistening. I hated you for a long time, she said. Not because you left, but because you didn't ask me to come. Ethan closed his eyes briefly, as if her words hit something buried inside him. You were struggling, he said, chasing your dream. I didn't want to be the reason you gave up. And yet, she said, voice breaking, I gave up anyway. For a long time. The snow outside was falling harder now, casting the world in white. Customers had come and gone, but the two of them remained in that corner booth like time had paused for them alone. Finally, Ethan reached into his coat again and pulled out a small leather-bound notebook. It was worn, the cover creased, the pages full. He slid it across the table. Open it. Claire hesitated. Then slowly she opened to the first page. Her handwriting. It was one of her old songbooks. She had lost it years ago, thought it was gone forever. Page after page, her lyrics, scribbled thoughts, even half-finished verses about Ethan. You had this? You left it in my bag. The day I left New York. I kept it. I added notes sometimes. Little memories, things I didn't want to forget. She turned to a page near the back. A new song, in Ethan's handwriting, lyrics that mirrored hers. A reply, like a call and answer across time. Her throat tightened as she read it. I waited through winters, through cities and skies, for the voice that first taught me that silence still cries. If time is a song, then you are my line, and I've been off rhythm since you weren't mine. Claire couldn't speak. He gently touched her hand across the table. His fingers were colder than she remembered. Or maybe her hands were just shaking. I'm not here to take anything from you, Ethan said softly. I just needed you to know, before I disappear again. Her voice came like a breath. Are you leaving? I have to be in Montreal by next week. Another project. But this time, I'd stay, if you asked me. The storm outside had turned. The streets quiet. The world was still. Only the sound of the coffee machine in the back and their own breaths filled the room. Claire stood up, walked to the small upright piano near the bookshelves. She sat, placed her fingers on the keys, and played. It wasn't polished, wasn't perfect, but it was the song, the one she had written when he left. She didn't look at him, but she felt when he walked closer. She could feel him breathing behind her. When she finished, she turned to him, eyes wet, but face calm. I don't know if I'm still in love with you, she said honestly. But I know I never stopped hoping you'd walk through that door. He stepped closer, quiet, steady. I'll wait, he said. Again, if that's what it takes. Epilogue. 3 winters later, it was the same cafe, same piano, different snowstorm. A little girl with soft curls sat on a stool beside Claire, pressing random keys, giggling. Ethan leaned in the doorway, smiling, coat dusted with snow. He held a new cassette tape in hand, the one they recorded together. Claire looked up, met his eyes, and smiled. The past had hurt, but the music they made from it, it became the most beautiful thing either of them had ever known. The end.